Hi there, yoga friends. My name is Jen. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to start our very gentle practice with our feet just hip distance apart. This is a great way to really feel yourself connected to the earth. So we bring all of our focus onto the feet, a slight bend into our knees. And we're just going to start by swaying our body from right end to left. And we notice as we do this, how the weight is shifting and how it feels for the soles of our feet. Again, our connections to the earth. If you like, you can let your hands sort of get in on it and make this sort of like a very organic movement here of swaying the body and bringing a gentle movement into the body, the spine. You can even take your hands to your hips and maybe circle and weighting forward and back onto the heels as well. So there really isn't a right or a wrong way to have this experience. The essence is that it is an experience and that our awareness is in this moment and into the movement. We notice perhaps our breath and how it feels for ourselves as we move within the body. Take another couple of really nice deep breaths in, just moving the body here gently from side to side. Anything goes as long as it feels right for you. Then we'll bring it in. We're going to come to stand in stillness. We're going to take the feet now just hip distance apart. Again, we have a sense of the hips rolling back, the navel back, and length through the spine. We're going to draw the fingers down towards the heels and turn our palms forward. Raise the hands high up to the ceiling as you inhale. Stretch the fingertips, but draw the shoulders away from your ears. And we're going to take hold of the right wrist with our left hand and press that right palm to the ceiling. Weight onto our left foot. Take that right foot here behind the left leg. And once it's firmly planted, start to side bend into your left. Draw the left hand down or the right hand down firmly with the left. Raise the gaze to the ceiling. We're just going to take a breath or two here, expanding through the right side of the ribcage. And then to release, we take the hands down, unravel the feet, come back to center, line them up with the hips, roll the top of the hips back, navel back, draw the fingers towards your heels, and again, inhale and stretch your hands high. Take hold of that left wrist now with the right palm and press the left palm high. Shift your weight onto the right foot. Pick up the left, take it behind the right, and side bend here to your right. Draw the right hand actively with the left in. Raise your gaze, 2 breaths. Expansion through the left side of the rib cage. And we gently release the hands, release the feet, and we come to stand on the mat. And what we're going to do here is come into a forward fold. Now I know that for some of us, if you're following me and you know my journey, you know that I live with chronic back pain. And that's okay. At one point in my life, it stopped me, but using yoga and a gentle practice has really helped. So what we're going to do is just scoot the booty back, draw the navel in, take the hands to the tops of the thighs, and I really want you to use your hands to support the back here. And over time, you're going to be able just to bow forward a little bit more, maybe even take the forearms to the upper thighs. And you can press your elbows into your thighs and lengthen through the spine, lift up through the heart. Notice how that feels. Stay here or lay your ribs down over your thighs. The hands can come to the floor. The head can drop down in between the shins. Over time here, as you feel comfortable, the hips start to lift up towards the ceiling. And I invite you, friends, just to sway the body here from side to side. It feels so good for lengthening the side ribs, the side body. You can choose just to hang here in stillness, or like we did from the standing, we're going to weight onto our right foot. You can pick up the left and take it behind the right heel. Now, if you're coming into this, you want to start to lift those hips up towards the ceiling, and it's okay if you have your hands on the shins, or if you still got your forearm here pressing into your thigh, to support the back. Maybe you can hang, but just notice how that feels by giving you a stronger stretch to that left side of your body. One more breath. And then we'll take that left foot back next to the right. Pause for breath. And then wait to the left foot. Take the right foot behind the left. And again, your forward fold, either forearms to the thighs or the hips high. But I invite you here just to drop your head down and take all effort out of the neck, out of the face, and out of the jaw. And from here, we'll take that right foot back in line with the left. Sink low through the hips. We're going to come into a squat and then into a tabletop. We want to line up the knees here with the hips and the wrists and the shoulders. Let's take 2 cat-cow. So as you inhale, the belly is soft and drops. The heart center lifts. The shoulders draw away from the ears as you gaze forward. Exhale, round through the spine, tucking the chin, coming into your comfortable tuck here. Last one, breathe in softness through the front line of the body as you arch the spine and gaze forward. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale and gently round through your spine. You're doing a great job. And then let's come back into the sense of stillness. We press up gently in between the shoulder blades. The navel draws back to the spine. We're going to sweep that right foot off the edge of the mat to the right side. Take the left foot here to come in line with the right knee. So you have the right wrist, right knee, and left ankle all in one line. Raise your left hand high. Press your hips forward, but at the same time, roll the top of the hips back. Right? So a gentle tuck to the pelvis as you reach the left hand high here. Keep a slight bend in your right elbow to activate through the right arm. We're not locking out through our joints. You can stay here or take that left hand past your head and press into the outer edge of the left foot and extend all the way into those left fingertips. It's a really lovely side body stretch here. Take another soft, calm breath or two. And then we'll take that left hand high. Now you can just choose to stay here, friends, or repeat what we've just done. Or we're going to press down with that right hand and activate. Lift the right knee off the floor. Straighten the leg. Cross it over the left ankle. So we come into the side body plank and press the hips high. Take the gaze to your left thumb tips if that's comfortable for you. Although you can take your gaze to the floor if that's necessary. And then we'll gently lower the left hand and the knees back to the floor. And we'll take the hips and the knees in opposite directions here. Come back into our stillness. And this time we're going to take the left foot forward in between our hands. The fingertips gently cup the floor. The right toe tips tucked under. We raise that right knee, press back into that right heel and sink the hips down and forward. Raise the gaze as we find length for the back of the right leg. Softness in the jaw and the shoulders and a smooth breath. Left knee stays in line with your left ankle. And then let's go ahead and lower that right knee to the floor, and you can keep your right toes tucked under here. We're going to raise the torso, so the shoulders come in line with the hips, and we're going to press the hips forward one more time. We'll sweep the hands up and forward, reach to the ceiling, draw the shoulders from the ears, and again we'll take hold of the right wrist with the left hand, press the right palm, and side bend here to our left. And as we do that, we want to keep our shoulders in line. We want to keep pressing that left, or the left and right hip forward. Calm breath. One last smooth breath here. Slowly release it back to center. Draw the hands down towards the floor. Lay your torso over your left thigh. Then we'll sink the hips back to the right knee. So the hips are still raised, but above the right knee. Point the left toes up towards the ceiling. Draw the left toes towards your left shoulder, and we fold over the left leg here, just on the fingertips, lengthening here through the spine, gazing forward. Last breath, sense of ease and softness to the body. And then we'll fold over that left leg. Draw that left knee back in line with the right. And we come back into that swaying sensation, the hips from left to right. Now with your toes tucked under here, we're going to sink the hips back onto the heels. Take the gaze forward. And we're going to add a shoulder stretch here. So we're going to raise the right hand high towards the ceiling, and then take that right hand behind the head in between the shoulder blades. The left hand can come to the top of the right elbow and just press it down, or it can release here and bend behind the back and see if you can take hold of your clothing, or you can interlace your fingers and press your head back into your right upper arm. Draw the floating ribs back, sit tall. I know you're feeling this in the soles of your feet. That's okay. We're almost done. Just take another breath or two calmly. Release the hands, give them a shake. Hands to the floor. Release the toes, and we're just going to tap like raindrops on the roof. Tap the toes here on the floor. And then with the toes tucked back under again, let's sway the hips and the shoulders in opposite directions, freeing up here, through the spine, through the body. I'll repeat all of that on the second side. So we come into our stillness, press up in between the shoulder blades, draw the navel back to the spine. Take the left foot, sweep it off towards the left side of your mat, and then take your right foot here now in line with your left knee. So we've got left wrist, knee, and right foot in a straight line on the floor. Press into that outer edge of the right foot and raise your right hand high. Press your hips forward, but roll the top of the hips back. So we've got length in the lower spine. You can choose to stay here, or you can sweep that right hand forward past the head and turn the palms down. As you do that, you have this tendency to sort of bring the shoulder into the ear, but what I want you to do is draw the shoulder away from your ear as you still extend to the right fingertips. Lots to think about. Calm breath or two here. And remember, you can stay here, or you can raise that right hand back up to the ceiling with a slight bend in the left elbow. We're going to push into the right outer foot. Pick up the left knee, cross it over the ankle, and press your hips high here. If you've got fairly decent balance, then you can take your gaze up to your right thumb tip. If you're sort of wobbly, maybe taking the gaze to the floor, up to you. Wherever you feel most stable for the next breath or two. And then let's lower that right hand to the floor and the knees. And come back into the hips and shoulders and moving in opposite directions. I really like this as a reset movement. And we'll come back into our stillness. And I'm pretty sure we're taking the left foot forward this time. I have to admit that I've just forgotten, but that's okay. If we get there and halfway you realize you've already done this side, then please repeat on the second side. So we have the left knee above the left ankle and the right toes tucked under. And I just want you to pick up that right knee and shuffle that right foot back. We press back into that right heel, lift up through the heart, draw the shoulders away from the ears. And this is the second side. Yay. Take that right knee back to the floor. Now I want you to keep your right toes here tucked under. As you still sink the hips forward, we're going to raise the torso and bring your shoulders here back in line with your hips. Press the hips to the front of the mat. Go as low as feels comfortable. We're going to sweep the hands forward and stretch the hands up towards the ceiling. And this time, we're going to take hold of the right wrist with the left hand and press that right palm to the ceiling. And then come into our side bend on the second side. So feeling the breath here, expand through the right side of the rib cage. Maybe you can take your gaze up towards the ceiling here. Just last breath or two. We're going to take the hands back to center, release them to the floor, and we're going to lay the torso here over your left leg. Start to take your hips back so that your hips are directly above your right knee. Draw your left toes back towards your left shoulder. Fingertips to the floor. Arching through the spine. Bow over the leg to your comfortable capacity, and we hold for just a couple of breaths. And then really slowly, let's take that left heel here back in line with the right. We'll tuck our toes under. Sink the hips back onto the heels. This time we're going to raise our left hand high up towards the ceiling. Bend the left elbow, take it down in between the shoulder blades. And the right hand's going to come up and just press gently here into the left elbow, taking the hand a little bit deeper. You can stay here or sweep the right hand down and away from you. Bend the elbow and see if you can interlace your hands behind your back or just hold on to some clothing. We press the head back into the left upper forearm. Draw the navel back, those floating ribs back. We'll take 2 or 3 more breaths. Just release the hands. Take the hands to the floor in front of you. Tap the feet, tops of the feet onto the floor. Our feet do so much work for us, don't they? And we barely notice. So we come to sit on our mat now. And I'll invite you, friends, just to take the soles of the feet together and just taking your soles of the feet together and hands back to the hips just to maybe move the fleshy bit back a little bit and sit tall. We're going to butterfly the knees and then just gently press the thighs into the floor. And here's where it gets really nice and juicy. We're going to take our thumbs and we're going to give a nice massage to the soles of our feet here. They deserve it, all of that, after all of that hard work and stretching they've just done. I really love foot massages. I know some people have aversions to touching feet, but reflexology, I was really fortunate enough to study reflexology at one point and learning that all of the organ systems here on the feet or in the body have a place in the feet. So, you know, oftentimes if you're getting a headache or something's going on, just by getting a nice foot massage or soaking the feet or even doing this, giving yourself a nice little rub, can really be beneficial for the entire body, which is probably why it feels so good when somebody massages your feet. So this next posture we're going to do is Tarasana. So the heels are not so close to the hips here. There's a bit of a distance, maybe 90 degrees or more with the knees here as the soles of the feet touch. What we're going to do is make a zipper with our toes. So we're going to take our fingers and thread them in between each of our digits. And it feels really awkward, and that's okay. We're just going to be comfortable with being awkward. I think the more we become comfortable with being awkward, the less awkward becomes awkward. And perhaps the more fun we can have with ourselves and maybe less caught up in the world and what other people think. Maybe we become a little bit more capable of taking steps forward in our lives. So we're just allowing our fingers here to stay threaded in the toes or zippered into the toes. We're going to take the elbows into our calf muscles here, or the shins, and we're going to fold forward from the hips. The heart center is leading the way, and then I'm going to get you to tuck your chin slightly so you've got length for the front and the back of the neck. We're going to take 5 really deep, smooth, and even breaths here. You're going to use your elbows here, press the legs away. Calm breath. Take one more breath here. And slowly, the navel drawn back. Return to our seat. Here's where it gets fun. We're going to release our fingers. And it feels so good, at least for me. We'll give the toes a little bit of a wiggle and take the legs wide. And just let your toes, your ankles circle around. The hands behind your back here. Lift the hips up off the floor. Rotate the sit bones back behind you. Sit back down and then just notice how that gives you a stronger stretch through the inside of your legs here. You can just sit tall, maybe with the hands on the shins, or you take your hands behind your back here to sit tall. It's entirely up to you. We're just getting that nice stretch here through the inside of the leg. If you desire to do so, we'll take the hands forward and walk the hands away from the body. Just coming to your comfortable forward fold. Mindful of the time of the day. If it's early morning for you, then it's the body's still warming up, and we are generally a little bit less flexible in the morning. If it's midday, you may be feeling a bit warmer through the body. I'm just going to take another breath or two here. See if you can soften, release a little bit deeper on every exhalation. And really slowly, friends, let's draw the navel back, walk the hands back in line. We'll take the hands underneath the knees, engage through the arms to draw the knees into your midline. And from here, we're going to take the soles of the feet here, just in front of the knees. The fingertips here point forward towards the heels. We're just going to bend the spine in an opposite direction. So all we're going to do here is start to lift up through the hips. Keep a slight bend through your elbows. You want your hips to reach up towards the ceiling. And at the same time, draw your shoulders towards your knees. Right? Keep that slight bend in your arms. I'm a bit hyper flexible in my joints. So for me, it's quite an effort to maintain that slight bend through the elbow, because it's not my natural extension. And then from here, we'll just drop the head back if that feels okay for your neck. Continue to press your knees or your hips high. Take 3 more breaths. And then we'll slowly lower the hips, return the gaze. We'll come into a comfortable seat. So there you have it, friends. Just a really short flow to get you going today. Doesn't matter if it's morning, if it's midday, or if it's evening. Just something to get the juices flowing and to feel a bit more at peace and ease within. And I hope that this left you feeling really lovely. Please leave a comment. Let me know how you go. Click subscribe. Hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of the videos coming up. And I thank you so, so much for joining me and everybody else who watched the video at this time. I hope you have a lovely day. Namaste.